actually saw that created the Vancouver local march against colonials, which is Harper's corporation for the worldwide march. And I started giving him advice on how to organize, and so he made me host. that's how I got into it. But
why are you so passionate about this issue, and what are we dealing with?
well, it's not just about Harper. It's really about government corruption. Harper's just a figurehead. It's about the corporate greed and the way that the people are being misled.
Okay. And would you agree with that statement? Why are you here? Why are you so passionate about this?
Why am I here? Basically, it's just because the federal government needs to be stopped. There's been numerous bills against Indigenous rights, against the environment, against so many groups of people, the Canadian postal workers. It's a matter of the public action having to step in and say that this is wrong, and we're not going to take it.
How do you feel that there's a global movement today, that there's marches going on in every country in the world?
I'm really happy.
Oh, 1 second.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But
oh, that's okay.
This is really, we started a page called In Solidarity with All Land Defenders in order to give long distance support to people who are in the front lines, Indigenous peoples in particular in Canada, but also around the world, are fighting this corporate greed that goes hand in hand with government corruption. And so I have really had envisioned having a worldwide march, but we didn't really have the like base or the connections, and it just happened. So we jumped on, and it's all about unity and people educating themselves.
Can you tell me about what other countries are participating today?
There's in the UK and in France, also in the States.
San Francisco is one.
Oh, give me 1 second. Hold on. Okay, tell me about the number. Who's all marching today?
A number of places in California, San Francisco. There's one. They're all over the place, really.
Yeah,
if you look on the worldwide page, there's over 100 events planned just within North America. That's not including the United States.
And that's their page on Facebook that he's referring to. So if you search Worldwide March Against Government Corruption, main event page, there's actually a list with all the different locations across the world, and in Canada too. There's many different locations. Winnipeg, Nova Scotia, there's Victoria. The list goes on. I was too busy focusing on Vancouver to really have a thorough list for you.
Okay. If you could summarize for your main message for me, just in one quick sentence, what would you say? What's your main message today?
My main message, personally, because I can't speak for every person in this crowd, is that we really need to start, people need to understand that the government doesn't always have your best interest in mind, and that you shouldn't blindly follow. You need to educate yourself. I really think that building community values is really important, because if the government isn't going to help us, because there's so many different cases where they're not helping us, but we need to learn how to help each other.
For myself, I'd just like to see the idea of resistance being vocalized in the community. We're always pushed to the side, like outside radicals, extremists, left-wing radicals. I mean, these are just labels. I mean, these are just issues that we really feel strongly about and are willing to hit the streets for.
If you could talk to Harper directly, what would you say to him?
I'm pretty sure that we're already speaking directly, indirectly. I don't know. I know that a number of my statements have made national stage just because Peter McKay.
Give me one statement right now.
Peter McKay email saboteurs, not to use about sabotage, basically. This was in response to the article in the Georgia Street at the beginning of the year, which we were part of.
Yeah, give me one clear message to Harper. If you could talk to him person to person, what would you say? Yeah, okay.
Hey, we're not protesters.
Hold on.
We're not protesters.
Hold on a
Sorry.
sec, and look at me, not the camera.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We're not protesters, we're protectors, and we're protecting the well-being of all people, and we're protecting our future. We're advocating for our future.
And what do you see your future being?
Well, if things continue going down the way that they are, I don't see it being very good, and that's why I'm standing here today and being proactive. I'm not here to say about what I want, I think, and what I want. I'm really here because I think that there's not enough community space for people to have their voices heard. So that's why I'm here, so that everyone else can come and say what's on their mind and how they feel and where they see this country going.
And how old are you?
I'm 29 years old.
How long have you been an activist for?
Well, I've always been concerned about social justice. I've been actively organizing events just since November of last year.
And tell me a little bit what's going to happen today. What's on the agenda?
Today we're gathering here. We have a march, and we're going to march We're going to march to the Vancouver Public Library because well, it was an undisclosed location until now, because we really think that the theme is not just about Harper. It's in cooperation with a worldwide march against government corruption. So Harper is he's just a figurehead. So once Harper's gone, the problems that we face are still here. So we need to create community, people need to educate themselves, and that's why we've chosen the library. Because the world of the internet right now, you have the world at your fingertips and people are choosing to be ignorant. So you need to be proactive and choose a better future. Be the future you want to see.
Okay, awesome. Anything else you want to say? Okay, you guys good?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Shannon Hecker, SHANNONHE. Come on, you can't make more noise than that.
You don't hear
Is that better? Yeah. Okay, let's start again. Bisab Quinlim Atna, Shmaskimas, Tamok, Yatna, and Gaminum Kanas, Tamok. Oddly Gunisqui, Tlitzen, Humasquium. I Kunshquelo and Squindi, Quitnala, Tna, Whale. My name is Audrey, and I'm from Musqueam, and I'm proud. I welcome you to the traditional unceded land of the Musqueam people and of the Hunkaminam speaking people. I'm proud and honored to stand here with Carleen and from Tsleil-Waututh and with Jackie from Lilwat. We are all here today for a united cause. So we have a phrase for that. It is Natsma Tishkwelowitz. We are of one heart and one mind. Everybody here today, we are of one heart and one mind. Now, I'm in the process of learning my ancestral language. So I have a piece of paper that I'm working from so that I get it right and that my ancestors understand what it is that I'm saying. I use my drum, my voice, and my traditional teachings. And I use them to make this world a better place. I use them to say, we have to stop Harper. And we have to stop everything that he has put into place to destroy this land that our ancestors worked for thousands of years to be stewards of. Now we're put in the place of having to protect it, and we will protect it. We come from a place of light and love. We come from a place of protection. Our people have taken care of this land for so long, and we will lead the way to continue doing that. And finish off, we are warriors. Each of us here. So, sorry, we're organizing still. Intrash Machalalush, Lilwat Unskan, Statlium Khan, my
My name is Jackie Huckleberry Eyes Andrew. I'm from the Lilwet Nation, Mount Currie. Speak up! My daughter, I'm here on behalf of my daughter and my son who cannot be here, and my father, who is prominent chief of the Lilwet Nation, Leonard Andrew. I'm here on behalf of my nation. I'm here on behalf of people of Turtle Island. I'm here on behalf of our rights as Indigenous people and as people in general. We are here to sing you some songs and to share some good words and to bring awareness. I'm going to share the Women's Warrior song that was brought to my Aunt Martina Pierre of the Lilwet Nation. The song came to her in a ceremony in the Sweat Lodge, and this song has traveled all across BC, all across Turtle Island, all across the world. My family has showed up in Mexico at the powwows there, and they've heard it there. I brought this song to India. I brought this wherever I traveled, and I've heard it out there. And she says, as long as you sing it in good spirit, you can share it. So this is a Women's Warrior song.
Come and join us with your drums.
All drummers,
Everybody.
come to front. Everybody sing if you want. Yeah.
anta ansakalo anta mana senyalya isia patslaho sia anta imetpat ansakalo patslaho sia mitsa putwila eat tama komatkuyam eat tohomish eat slowata. My dear relatives and friends, the feelings I have inside are really good to see you here today. My ancestral name in Coast Salish way of introducing myself to you is Ansakalo. My name is Carleen Thomas. I also shared with you my lineage. My parents are Ernie and Deanna George, and my grandparents are the late Donnell George and the late Lillian Dolly George. And the reason we do that is in case there's somebody in the audience here that knows who my family are, and we can make a connection so that we feel like we belong to this place and time. On behalf of my friends and relatives of the Musqueam and the Squamish, the Tsleil-Waututh welcome you here to our lands and waters. And we understand that many of you have roots as deep as we do right now to this city, to this province, and to this country. And we are so glad to have you here today. This is a really important rally. I understand that this is global, internationally. People are standing up. Citizens, grassroots people are standing up to protect their communities, to protect the future of our children and our grandchildren. And I raise my hands and thanks to you today for being here, for standing with us, for standing shoulder to shoulder, telling the government that we have a voice and that we have a say on what they're doing to our country. We have to stand proud, we have to stand united. Nice step up.
wants your dirty oil. Harper's gotta go.
This fraudulent system with something approaching an intelligent alternative. Vote none of the above or don't vote at all. Don't pay your taxes. Refuse to pay taxes to a corrupt government. If you vote, vote none of the above.
Excellency, my very beloved members of the human family, I want to first of all give my heartfelt thanksgiving to Prime Minister Stephen Harper, because in his unawareness and increasing injustice, he has awakened a sleeping spiritual giant. That is not only indigenous peoples of this land and this world, but the people of the human family who want justice. Who understand there's only one human family. And with that consciousness of the one human family and the consciousness that the organizing principle for this day is justice, that means the elimination of every form of prejudice, whether it be racial prejudice, whether it be gender prejudice, whether it be social prejudice of any form, whether it be sexual orientation, whether it be a prejudice against women, and not with the recognition that the eagle has two wings. One is man and one is woman. And until both wings of the eagle have equal power and respect, we will not have justice. It's time that we wake up that Mother Earth's not sick, the human family's sick. And we're here to demonstrate that we will no longer be asleep. We are awakening everywhere on Mother Earth. And I want as well to give thanksgiving that I have the great honor and pleasure to stand upon unceded, unsurrendered Salish land of the Musqueam Nation, the Squamish Tsleil-Waututh, and that we live in a land where only 6% of this province has been signed over in treaty. The rest of it has been illegally stolen. And that's a reality. That is a fact. And because of that, when you act out of your inherent ancient sovereignty, there is no such a thing as civil disobedience, because you're acting out of that which is your right to protect Mother Earth and protect your future generations. And that's where we stand. Last thing I'd like to share is this, that this is going to be a long, heartfelt struggle. But the reality is that we are one human family, and that not only should indigenous peoples of the human family have the right to free, prior, and informed consent, but every single human being has that right. And any government that disrespects this right is a government of tyranny, a government of injustice. And all we have to do is look around and see the extremes of wealth and poverty, not only here in the United States, but in most countries in the world, to see the governments are in fact living in a tyrannical manner. All we have to do is go to any reserve in this country. Go right down here to our relatives in East Hastings or other places right here in Vancouver to see that there's injustice that has to be straightened out. Extremes of wealth and poverty have to be balanced. That's another part of this foundation. So I would say not only to Stephen Harper, but to any other government that comes after Stephen Harper, to know that this movement for justice and respect and honor and dignity for all members of the human family is not going to get smaller, it's going to get bigger, stronger, everywhere in Mother Earth. Everywhere. And I want to also remind us too that the Liberal Party was the one that conceived of and sustained the residential school system here in Canada. So we cannot expect any one single person or some political party is going to bring us the justice we seek. It's going to be the people awakening to the oneness of the human family and standing up as we are here today and making our voices heard. Our presence known and our unity felt. So mitaki api, lumi chante washnelo, wanki eo yate kile wa kainalo, shuk mano he meyado, chinupa sapa he meyado, In our Dakota language we say, my name is a sacred black pipe born of thunder, lightning, and rain. My name is a leader of warriors who takes the enemy's best horses, and I stand responsible before the Creator for my words and my actions. So, let's go.
Check, check. Yeah, you want to talk on the mic? You want to go? You want to?
No, you're just introduce yourself.
Så ska ni gå och gå? Hajista här och jungets wakata hioni. Deti no herados deti nesto na jiwanjare. I am known in the lands of our nation as Hajista Hawe, and in Canada, the corporation, the English name is known as Sino General. Also, I have a music name that I go by Chief Rock. I do a lot of music and mixing of our traditional music with hip-hop music, and the other thing I do is I teach the legal side and lawful side of law. There's a lot of lack of understanding and lack of, information that people should know, some founding information that people should truly know, just as well as not to breathe in when you're underwater, not to jump out of a plane without a parachute. There's certain basic common things that people should just know. A lot of us don't know because we've been taught not to look that way, not to learn what rights really are, what kind of society that we actually live in. That's all around us at this moment is corporations. Corporations like Enbridge and all those pipelines and even Canada itself is a corporation. When they first came to our lands, there was no corporation, it's just the people, and we welcomed the people who came off the ship and with open arms to come and share what we have here, as we do today. But corporations and people who run them, the 1% that we always talk about, those are the ones that we need to understand the game that these people are playing with the people that are here on the land. And most people don't even realize that being called a citizen of Canada is being called an employee of Canada. It's the same thing. You're an employee of Canada, and that's why when you turn 65 or you get to that ripe age, they give you a pension.
Right.
Because they're paying their employees a pension for working for the corporation.
Yes.
So we need to know these things, and when we go into the courtrooms, we're going into a racist corporation that only hands down judgments on behalf of the corporation. So it's hard to fight a corporation that's only going to rule in the favor of the corporation. So our people need to rise up and start putting together our own people's court. We need to rise up our own sheriffs, our own police, our own people that will protect our lands. Not these people who work for a paycheck printed by the corporation like Canadian Tire money.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we have all the power to do what we want to do. We don't need to listen to these people. Who are they? And where did they get their authority over anybody?
Yeah.
They have no authority over our lands. They have no authority over our bodies, over how we think, over our free speech, or anything that we want to say or do on these lands. They have no authority. And we need to learn what our true rights are. Because everything in this corporation and this world that we live in is a contract. We're living in a contractual world. Everything's a contract. You go into a buffet, you scoop out some food, you're agreeing to pay the price.
Right on.
And the same thing, these corporations want to come on the land as the people. We need to tell them what the price is for trying to come on the land. We can set a price, we can tell them how much it is to come on these lands. We don't need to stand around and trying to beg the government to stop them. We can stop them.
Right.
We are the power. The people are the power. Don't forget it. We are the people. We are the power. The government is not the power. The government is nothing more than a piece of paper.
Right on.
We need to keep that in mind. The government is nothing more than paper.
Yes.
It's some written documentation. People don't even know what a constitution is. A constitution is written by a constitutor, and the constitution really is a debt passed on to a third party. So our people need to understand all these legal things that we're trying to claim to. We want our constitutional rights. So you want rights to a debt that they're passing on to you? No. So we got to understand these things. We got to understand what a citizen is. We got to understand what paying tax is. We didn't have to pay tax. I'm sure people from other nations and other worlds that come here and watch us are laughing like, why you guys got to pay to live on your own planet?
Right.
You know, no wonder they want to come and talk to us. They think we're crazy. You know, a little bit of education, a little bit of awareness will really get you to stand back and see the perspective of what's really going on these lands, these buildings, these corporations, these people that think they can tell you what to do. They can hire some guys with guns and tasers to come and put you in line and shoot you to death if you don't listen to what they got to say by their rules. We are the authority, not them. You live by our rules. You're on our lands. You know, and like I said, our people here are here to share our resources, our land, and our love with everybody. I'm very happy to see our allies here today, people who are here to join with us to try and stop these poisonous tar sands that are destroying a land base that people are getting cancer and dying, and no one seems to care.
They don't. No.
They just keep on walking by as long as they get their Starbucks, as long as they get their TV and their high definition TV. They don't care. As long as, you know, let someone else get cancer, and I won't care until it affects someone in my family.
Right on.
You know, so when they come knocking on your door to drag you off into a camp, like they did to the Japanese people, then we'll start caring, right? Is that when you start caring, when they hire all these corporate guys with guns to round everybody up and throw you into a camp? Because you don't want pipelines, because you don't want all these poisonous black goo running through our lands? We got to be very mindful of the things that we hold true and keep mindful of the things that we hold dear to us. You know, a dead planet we can't do nothing with. A planet that gives you cancer, and no wonder they're off on other planets looking for somewhere else to live, because once they're finish destroying this planet, they're taking off all those 1% people that are building spaceships and space stations and putting people on Mars. You better pay attention to what's really going on out in this world. Even our officers over there that are watching us as we walk, they're going to leave all your families behind on this dead planet as well. So you guys got to be standing up and standing alongside our people who are stopping these people from destroying this planet. We need this planet to keep 7 or 8, 9 generations from now to be full of clean water, clean air, and clean animals. So I'd like to thank everybody for having me come on up and speak. I've only given a little bit of what's really going on, but there's a whole workshop that I do on teaching people what law is, because law is nothing more than a contract. They can't impose law upon people if you don't consent to the law, if you don't agree to the law. All right? Now what you want to do, if people want to get together, create your own identification that shows that you're from whatever nation that you want to be part of. You know, we don't need to be Canadians because only Canadian law applies to Canadians. They can't go over to Japan and impose Canadian law. They can't come on our lands and impose Canadian law. This is not Canadian land. It's never been sold. That's why they call it unceded territory. So again, I'd like to say thank you. In our language we say Nyawagoa. I appreciate the time that you guys had here today to march through the streets and bring some perspective to everybody of what's really going on. And I'd like to end it off with a song that we sing back home. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ed Nichols. What is corruption? I'm going to give a few examples. Using military helicopters to take you on private fishing trips. That's corruption. Attending secret society meetings at the taxpayer's expense and not being accountable. That's corruption. Signing temporary foreign agreements with foreign governments and treating the workers as slaves. That's corruption. Now a little bit about myself. I'm an ally. My ancestors settled in Victoria over a century ago. One of them became a very famous artist. Her artwork is in the top floor of the art gallery. Her name is Emily Carr, Kleewick. I'd like to read you an excerpt from one of her many books and one of her stories from the book Kleewick. Her books have been translated into many languages around the world. I'll read you a bit from the story Greenville. So we went to Gitex and Angadar, two old village sites on the Nass River. His old boat crept through the sidewash meanderings of the Nass. Suddenly, we came out on his turbulent waters and shot across them, and there, tipping drunkenly over the top of dense growth, were the totem poles of Gitex. They looked like mere sticks in the vast sea of green that had swallowed the old village. Once they, too, had been forest trees, till the Indian mutilated and turned them into bare poles. Then he enriched the shorn things with carvings. He wanted some way of showing people things that were in his mind, things about the creatures and about himself and their relation to each other. He cut forms to fit the thoughts that the birds and animals and fish suggested to him. And to these he added something of himself. When they were all linked together, they made very strong talk for the people. He grafted this new language on to the great cedar trunks and called them totem poles and stuck them up in the villages with great ceremony. Then the cedar and the creatures and the man all talked together through them totem poles to the people. The carver did even more. He let his imaginings rise above the objects that he saw and pictured supernatural beings too. The creatures that had flesh and blood like themselves.
Mic's gone, mic check. Zero.
Generator stop.
Generator stop. Where's the microphone?
Got it.
Is it going? Okay.
No.
Really?
They accepted them as their ancestors, but the supernatural things they feared and tried to propitiate. Every clan. Every clan took a creature for a particular crest. Individuals had private crests too, which they earned for themselves, often by privation and torture and fasting. These totem creatures were believed to help, especially those who were on their crest. When he looked at a man's pole, his crest told you who he was, whom he might marry, and whom he might not marry. For people of the same crest were forbidden to marry each other. You knew also by the totem what sort of man he was, or at least what he should be, because men tried to be like the creature of their crest, fierce or brave or wise or strong. Then the missionaries came and took the Indians away from their old villages and totem poles and put them in new places where life was supposed to be easier where they bought things from a store instead of taking them from nature. Greenville, which the Indians called Lac-Alzap, was one of these new villages. They took no totem poles with them to hamper their progress in the new ways. The poles were left standing in the old places, but now there was no one to listen to their talk anymore. By and by, they would rot and topple to the earth, unless white men came and carried them away to museums. There they would be labeled as exhibits, dumb before the crowds, who gaped and laughed and said, "This is the distorted foolishness of an uncivilized people." And the poor Poles could not talk back because the white man did not understand their language. So, I say now to Stephen Harper, Christy Clark, and the rest, when you fail to honor the treaties, that is corruption. I also say to the governments around the world, when you allow children to die from starvation in your streets, and you're giving subsidies to corporations that make weapons that kill, that is corruption.
It's working now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How long until we get it? How long until we will regret it? How long? How long? How long until we get it? How long until we will regret it? How long? How long? How long till we see what we take is anything but free from the land and the sea? Have to give back respectfully. How long until we get it? How long until we will regret it? How long? How long? And so you worship messiahs, and you think that you will be saved. Only you're gonna save us from the garbage pit we've made. How long until we get it? How long until we will regret it? How long? How long?
Thank you.
Gentlemen, I'm going to keep this very short, but I think what most people really, truly need to know is that we have been under an oppressive and corrupt government in this country since 1972. When the pressure on Mr. Trudeau by the FLQ, that's the Free Liberation People of Quebec, the mafia, and the big banks, and particularly the Auditor General. Now the Auditor General in that cabinet happened to be the bagman for the alcohol bankers, who are in fact the Canadian mafia. I brought to the attention of the Governor General and the RCMP at that time that a fraud was about, this is 1972, remember. In 1972 I went back to Ottawa and I pointed out to those august people that they were about to engage in one of the biggest financial frauds ever known on the planet. And that is precisely what they did. And if you go to your websites and your emails and you go to the computer essentially, you go to Google, and if you haven't already seen it, look up 12-year-old girl explains the banker's fraud. It's very clear that there would be no serious challenges either to the Aboriginal people and their fair share of the wealth of this country and there would be no need for taxes. That is where we were in 1972, after the Bank Act had run, which was started in 1934, had run 5 years of war, had built the largest highway ever, practically, had built the biggest commercial fleet, third biggest commercial fleet, and the St. Lawrence Seaway, all of which brought no debt to the Canadian people. After handing the provision of money into the Canadian system, we are now over $800 billion in debt to a bunch of fraudulent overseas bankers who have bought our lives. And it's high time that we gained our lives back. And as that gentleman earlier said, it is high time for this country to wake up and follow the lead, first of all, of Iceland, and that is seize back our financial arrangements so there at least is a guaranteed annual income per day, so that people, if they feel obliged to spend some time with their children, not to be called into debt when they leave university or even high school. This money fraud must stop. Now then, I'm going to change the tone. What can we do about it? Because that is clearly the issue. For more than 20 years, including going to the Supreme Court of British Columbia to get traction, I've been trying to get an alternative to the corrupted political parties. The only way we can possibly get rid of these people is to have something on the ballot called none of the above. And then what happens? Should, if the Canadian people have woken up enough, what would happen if that got a majority in any riding? Well, I'll tell you, we'll adopt the Aboriginal way of doing business, and there will be men's circles and women's circles meeting separately, seeking accord among themselves so that we can ensure proper gender balance in the affairs of this country. And when they have agreed, and when they've met together in plenary council, men and women circles together, and they have found an accord, then it must be put to the people in referendum for the authority. Now, I've been trying to do that for 20 years. As we see here today, there really a very hardcore of people that want serious change. But what I'm suggesting to all of you is, if you have the opportunity, meet with your friends in men's circles and women's circles initially. Find an accord whether or not we should in fact insist that the Bank of Canada begins to play its proper role in this government and get rid of these psychopaths, these ego trippers that want to do nothing better than oppress and bring about people into economic slavery. That has gone on long enough. We are not slaves, and we should not become slaves. I'm calling upon Commissioner Paulson, the head of the RCMP, to immediately arrest the Prime Minister, what I like to call the Crime Minister, who stays